every year, at the end of the academic year and at the beginning of the new academic year, as a community of practice, the teachers and staff, the Graduate School of Architecture, meet to reflect upon the work that we've done in the year and to make plans and provide feedback to each other on the work that we're planning to do for the coming year. And we met this year in a number of locations. We met at Forum Homini, just outside Johannesburg, and we convened a session where unit staff presented their plans and their thinking for their themes for the units for the academic year 2024.
Unit 20 is a group of architectural storytellers. We are inspired by the idea of storytelling, and we employ film, animation, AR, AI. We employ a multidisciplinary sort of approach to design thinking and research.
The perfect student is someone that's willing to get a little bit more out of their master's degree and honors degree than just the piece of paper. So you have to be hardworking. You have to put in just the amount of time that is needed to get a quality project. And someone that's just determined and ambitious and really has a passion for architecture.
And it's been really exciting journey, a learning journey for us and also for the students. And last year particularly been really exciting, with a really exciting body of work, and so rewarding with one of our students being awarded a first prize Coral Break Regional for UJ, which is quite exciting, and we're looking forward to see how he performs nationally.
As the title suggests, our name is Phantom Cartography. So if we had to break that down simply, so think of phantom, it's something that exists. We don't necessarily see it, but it is there. And then cartography, so the act of mapping that out. So in a way, how can we make the unmappable mappable? But at the same time, beyond mapping, we are interested in architectural propositions. This year's specific focus is on the Heritage Act and heritage buildings, but we'd also be interested in students' cultural identities, their position on it.
The Heritage Act is a piece of legislation that was published in 1999. It's a piece of legislation that architects have to engage with all the time, and it can pertain to a very broad range of subjects, not only an old building and what it looks like and how you can intervene with it, but also artifacts, places of deposits in the landscape, fragments of memories and stories. And it's very, very often perceived as a hindrance, which it sometimes is for large-scale development. So really, I think what we are hoping to do in this instance is really look at that piece of legislation and ask ourselves critically as a group of people, is it relevant? How relevant? Which aspects of it are relevant? Is it biased? If so, how do we address those biases? So we really are hoping to use the Heritage Act as a prompt for every student project where they get an opportunity to integrate and interact with that piece of legislation in a very, very meaningful way. And in a way, their projects almost become case studies of what you can and can't do in challenging that piece of legislation that can very, very often be considered as outdated, perhaps irrelevant, and definitely biased.
This year in Unit 23, we will be looking at legislation as myth, where we seek to challenge legislation as the absolute truth by interrogating our relationship to land.
We are looking for students who are inherently curious and diligent, students who are looking to explore the possibilities that architecture can unravel for them, students who are ready to explore the iterative and creative process of asking, researching, and asking again, researching, and making through speculation as well.
Unit 24 will continue its research into repositories of identity, which is centered around themes of the archive, and which challenges the historical dominance of Western perspectives in archiving colonized territories. Last year, Unit 24 researched Senegal as a site of study, and students developed their projects around the term digante, which is a Wolof term for a middle condition. And then this year,
We are still working with the essence of a middle condition in Angola, but this year we're shifting gears a little. We're talking to a collective identity as opposed to an individual identity that we solely focused on last year. And so I think this year will be a mixture of both, but it's also why we've termed the unit National Reserve, this idea of national and reserve, and then the title as a whole and what that means. And we've defined that as a designated space to preserve, reserve,
Conserve an endemic or threatened natural or cultural heritage.
Unit 28 is kind of interested in students starting to think deeply about the things that we take for granted, and there's a lot of we have what is called an architectural canon, and it is taken for granted that everyone agrees that it's a site that is read the same way. But what we argue is that actually that architecture, because of it's highly political, and we kind of emerged from a society that was separated by race, gender, etc., then that architecture starts to kind of replicate those kind of patterns of society. So the unit is kind of interested in a deep reading of the architectural canon in trying to imagine a future.
I think it's also about understanding the continuous growth of Johannesburg, that it's not a very stagnant city. It's constantly moving, constantly changing with the people that are coming in. And those people change how the infrastructure is. So we are asking that students look at the now and the there, and it's start to look at how these infrastructures have changed across time.
And many times we look at our challenges, whether in Johannesburg, as if it's conditions that are happening in Johannesburg. But our exploration will unveil or look at or explore that, the similar challenges are happening in other parts of the country. They are happening in other parts of the of the continent, because the similar kind of superimposition of colonial system applied to the whole country. So part of what we'll be tackling is not just a solution for Johannesburg, but it's an approach that could generally explore throughout the rest of the continent.
When we think about the cities, African cities that we live in, we occupy, we work in, oftentimes as architects, the way that we think about these cities, the way that we understand them, are coming from a kind of Western model of what a city should be like. And so in this unit, we're particularly interested in learning how to read our cities better and differently. And then as architects, learning how to operate within that in a more effective way, both to read and then do what we call writing the city as an architect. The work of the unit this year is situated within a bigger research project that we're undertaking in collaboration with the Universidade Lusaida in Angola. The architecture school there, honors and master's students at the same level, but also with Professor Antonio Tomas, who's at the University of California, Irvine, who's recently completed a book on Angola called In the Skin of the City. He was with us at the GSA, so he's very familiar with our ways of working. So as a unit, we're working with these collaborators, and we're each going to be thinking about how to read and write the city differently. And the work of the unit at the end of in the end of 2024 and into 2025 will be the subject of an exhibition that will be hosted in a building that we will visit and that the university in Luanda will host, and we will be part of the design of the exhibition and the hosting of the work. So it's a real opportunity for students not only to work in collaboration with others, but for their research work to form part of a kind of critical exhibition and reflection on a city, another African city, and to begin to get used to the idea of disseminating and exhibiting their work as creative practitioners.
We love to eat in this unit. Food is our core, it's our center, it's why we are who we are. So if you love to eat and if you can cook, we'd really appreciate you.
So last year was an interesting year. We also were focused around terrains of water and architecture and that intersection. But for some reason, we were very focused on the functionalist, almost scientific, engineering-based problems and problem-solving issues. And so this year we're turning it on its head. So we're going to be a lot more explorative. We're going to be a lot more evocative. We're going to be a lot more fun and loose and experimental. So this year we're going to be employing a series of workshops relating to experimental model building, which is something both Bontle and I are very passionate and love, but also the ingress and implementation of computational, generative and technological design methodologies are going to be important for us this year. And we're going to be free and open with how we teach students that and train students, integrate those skill sets into their own creative vocabularies. And then we're going to ground all of this research through these two experimental and explorative sort of frames of working at the VAL. So we are, again, going to be around a terrain of water. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to go there with our drone and our virtual reality headset, and we're going to go rowing, and we're going to just immerse, excuse the pun, ourselves in the VAL.
If you're a student and you are interested in delving into the unique challenges that are posed around water-centric environments, and you have a unique or exciting ways or visual approach to how you analyze things, how you explore, and how you uncover your research topics, then we are looking for you. We are looking for that student, whether it's through sketches, physical models, videos, or any other approach. I think that's the type of student we are looking for.
Unit 15X has predominantly been known as the Pan-African unit. We are fascinated with what is the African identity in architecture and what is an African architecture. And we constantly like to encourage our students to sort of bring themselves and their own cultures and their own heritage when they come to us and when they think about what architecture could be for the future.
I think we're looking for students that are willing to have difficult conversations. Conversations about where they come from, about who they are, about the impacts of the spaces they come from in how they relate and create architecture. In the past, that's something that's been quite strong in our students, their ability to tell stories, their ability to use their memory, their understanding of ritual, of home, of belonging in creating architecture.
Unit 17's always had this kind of focus on making, on realizing concepts. And in fact, one of the big ideas this year is to kind of lead with making. So to make something and then use that object, to interrogate that object and use that object as the progenitor of concepts, of ideas, of theory. So action leads theory. Making comes in advance of theory.
We're exploring this idea of working as a unit because that's how the real world operates. So we wanted to empower students to the conditions of the real world. Making has always been at the core of Unit 17. So if you're a student who likes thinking through your hands or through your making of things, then Unit 17 is definitely the unit for you.
So whichever unit you end up in at the GSA, you may not get your first choice unit, and you may get your third choice unit. The intention is that you immerse yourself in the themes and the ideas that unit presents to you. If you're an honors student, you're invited to experiment, to understand what the process of research is, to learn how to research. And when you're an M2 student, the idea is that you then produce a body of research. And your work will be derived from or based upon or based around the themes of the unit, but it will be your work. So whatever you invest in your own work through the work of the unit will reflect in the outcome and the output of the work that you produce. but it provides a diversified, a wide range of interests, preoccupations, and motivations that allows you to test your own thoughts, your own ideas in developing your own creative potential and your own understanding of your own practice in architecture.
Hi, I'm Jelan Fau. I'm an architect and an urbanist. I've spent many years in practice before joining the GSA and done lots of buildings, from houses to offices, and lots of interesting work, heritage work. So I guess I come to making with a long trajectory in practice, but with a desire to extend the transformative ethos of the GSA to a real transformation in how we make and produce architecture in South Africa. And
I'm Marisa Louise Viljoen, and I completed my master's in 2022, and I'm an alumnum of Unit 21. I have a BSc in Consumer Sciences, so for me it's very important to bring science to architecture and how we can experiment in architecture to iteratively test and understand the design through that background. I'm also a candidate architect practicing, and I specialize in business development.
Hi everyone, my name is Tlogela Sasana. I graduated from Tshwane University of Technology. I also lecture there part-time. And I also have my own design studio, but we also manufacture a lot of furniture. We've exhibited at Decorex, and so that's the experience I'm bringing into the making studio.
so we're very excited this year. For those of you who were here in your M1 year, you would have seen this space under construction for about a year, and it will be launched this year. And we're very excited to have it. I think that even in the way that it looks and it's set out, we want you to feel that this is a space that students own. This is a space within the GSA that you can come and experiment and just mess around with materials. But I think it's a really important part of your time here. That's why it's located within walking distance of your studio. And we really want to encourage you all to be in here, inhabit it, make your own space and really use it.
It's important that whatever skill you set out to develop in the beginning of the year, to understand that we as a team are here to support you and to guide you along the journey. And that's very important for us, is to offer that support.
For me, like, this is also a space where you can explore your own internal curiosities, you know. You can see what it means to bring something to fruition from mind to literally hand. So I think come with that curiosity and let's see what happens.
Hi, my name is Mngolisi Makubo, unit lead for Unit 28 and also the AHT convener. I'm interested in the subtle politics of architecture.
My name is Heidi Liu, and I am the AHT assistant and co-lead of Unit 24. I have a personal interest in the middle space and in studying the processes, procedures, and methodologies that contribute to post-colonial diasporic identities. Architectural history and theory focuses on an extensive range of broader and adjacent topics to architecture. We will read architecture together with film, orality, urbanity, and infrastructure. The course will be both an introduction to traditional architectural history and theories, as well as contemporary readings and voices. And we aim to read these in conjunction with each other to understand how architecture can be political.
So we imagine that a student who comes into architectural history and theory this year would be moving from kind of understanding the theory that's in place, the canonical theory in place, and for the first time they'll be interrogating the theory and understanding it in context in relation to all other media that was helping produce a particular status quo.
Hi, my name is Guy, and I'm an associate professor at the GSA. I will be coordinating the Advanced Design Research program and also looking after the PhD and MArch DTP post-professional programs. So it's really about keeping an overview, a kind of sense of the work that's being produced at the GSA and understanding how best it can be disseminated, packaged, published, and shared with the world.
Hi, my name is Denise Fashier and I'm the Senior Operations Manager at the GSA. I manage all the human resourcing, funding and budgets of the GSA, but primarily I manage a team of operations staff who deal with each portfolio separately in terms of their interface with students.
Hi everyone, my name is Gabisile Mahlangu and I'm the Administrative Assistant at the GSA. Some of my responsibilities include venue booking and managing of the venues, equipment booking, and also the travel portfolio for local trips for both staff and students.
Hi everyone, I'm Adeshni Reddy, the Academic Admin Manager for the GSA, and I take care of all matters related to the student life cycle, such as admission, registration, graduation and examination.
Hi everybody, I'm Leslie Ince Garcia. I am the Senior Executive Administrator. I also deal with special projects. From my side, I will assist Prof. Mark Raymond with administration. I will assist with travel logistics, and there will also be some communication from the Director's Office coming your way.
Hi, I'm Waitumela Mazbuka and I'm the GSA's Events, Exhibition and Social Media Manager. So I manage the GSA's brand and also the public programs, student exhibitions and any academic events that we have at the school.